Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to this special Monday morning edition of Generally Irritable. I'm blessed and fortunate enough to have my very handsome and smart, intelligent husband, Benjamin Nathaniel Reddick II, with me. So this is a Lord and Lady Reddick edition of Generally Irritable. We're going to try something new out today, you guys. Normally, we're doing long form podcasts where we're having interviews or talking about a specific topic. Sometimes I do my rants or short comedic shorts and things like that. But we want to actually start bringing a kind of a news element to Generally Irritable. And we were inspired a little bit by a YouTuber that we like to watch called Tim Pool. So he's got what he calls, what is it, Timcast, babe? What is it? He has a couple of different channels.
SRO, yeah.
One of them, they have the long form podcast. And then in another one, he brings you breaking news and information. And so that's what we're trying out today, you guys. This might be a little bit clumsy because we're trying to figure out how we want this to look and how we want it to feel. And how we're going to handle these things moving forward. So feel free to make some comments, ask some questions, give Benjamin and I, give me some feedback, and let me know what you think, how you might like to see these kinds of segments going forward. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to aggregate the news, right? We're going to look at all these news sites or about a specific topic and bring that information to you guys. Sound about right, babe?
Sounds amazing.
Sounds amazing. Okay, so here's what happened. I decided, Benjamin and I have been talking about doing an episode or episodes like this for a while. And then there was breaking news over the weekend about more problems and more, we'll say, shady stuff surrounding Vermont's congressional race this year.
Yes, the shadows.
Shadowy. As Guy Page called it, shadowy.
Yes.
So we're going to be looking at an article from Vermont Daily Chronicle as one of our sources. But so what has happened, you guys? Let's see. Actually, we're going to share the screen. Let's try this. Wait, do we like it like this better? Or do we like it like this better?
No, on the left.
The left? Okay. So breaking news.
One time being on the left is better.
Let's see. Which one do we want to start with? I should have had one set up and ready to go. So basically what has happened, what has come to light is that the crypto organization FTX, who donated over $1 million to LGBTQ PAC on behalf of to support Becca Balint, is now under investigation for fraud. So it appears that FTX was basically a giant Ponzi scheme is how it seemingly has been reported. So let's see. What does Fortune say? Fewer names have been bigger in cryptocurrencies this year than Sam Bankman-Fried, CEO of crypto exchange FTX. So when it became clear this week that the curly-haired billionaire and his exchange faced a liquidity crunch, he was no longer a billionaire and his exchange likely wasn't solvent. It cast a shadow over the entire crypto space and sent digital currencies plummeting. So essentially what happened was people started to get suspicious about what was going on with this organization, and they started trying to pull their funds out of FTX. Tens of billions of, wait. Let's see, was it this one? Running dollars to politicians. So the other thing is, now there's an additional layer that almost looks like there was a sort of laundering, maybe not intentionally, but almost a laundering of money going on with the Ukraine situation. So not only are we seeing that this organization is not solvent, we go, okay, well, it looks like, the United States sent all this money over to Ukraine, and then Ukraine in turn invested it into FTX, who then in turn donated $40 million to Democrats around the country, including who? Who was it? That's right. Vermont's Becca Balint, our congressional candidate. 7 days reported on this, what was this, August? So all the way back in August, it was reported that she received $1.1 million. See, this is what 7 days is saying, was that one of the other heads of FTX funneled $1.1 million through a PAC to Becca Balint. So while we're saying that Becca was able to win because of money from this company, and we now see that this company got this money through fraudulent means, that's a little bit troubling. What have you got to say, Benjamin?
It's a lot right there. As far as, is Ukraine allowed to do what they did to invest in FTX? Is that even something they can legally do?
I'm sure that it is. Well, that's not true. I don't know when you say, is it legal? What do you mean by that?
Is that, I know we sent them money, but wasn't that supposed to be for specific things? Like, are they allowed to take that money and buy into companies or invest in companies in America, back in America? Like, that just seems weird that you would even be doing that.
That's a really good question. Like, shouldn't that money have ties and expectations to it? Right. So like, as an example, if you get money from the federal government, if we as a state or a city, let's say the federal government gives us $1 million to build a new bridge. Well, the state is then obligated to commit a certain amount of our own money to get that bridge built. And then we have to prove that we spent the money on the bridge. So how is the money being sent to Ukraine being handled?
Who knows? It's the federal government. It could just be sent and have fun. Good luck with that. Who freaking knows? They're not great at this. Yeah, that's just amazing to me. But it's not super surprising. And the sad part is clearly it didn't catch anybody off guard. And it's fun as much as this. Listen, Molly Gray talked about this in her campaign as well.
Yes.
It's just people didn't care.
And she was smeared. She was smeared as homophobic for bringing up the fact that this donation happened. How dishonest is that to try to spin her concern over PAC money?
Yeah.
Right. So this is the thing. We want to be real clear. We want to talk about a couple things, get some definitions straight. Right. Becca Balint, at the beginning of her campaign, I think Molly Gray said the same thing, that they wouldn't take any dark money and they wouldn't take any lobbyists' money. And so when you look at this, you go, well, okay, well, wait, hold on one second. What exactly does dark money mean then? Because I always thought dark money and PAC money, money from political action committees, to me, that was always synonymous, right? Like, that's the same thing. Dark money is money from PACs. But if you look, dark money means money contributed. At least this is what Merriam-Webster is saying the definition is. Money contributed to nonprofits that is used to fund political campaigns without disclosure of the donors' identities. And so I don't know if this money from FTX is not considered dark money because you know who the donor is. Right? Is that how?
I think that's the argument that she's making, is that they knew who the money was from, so it's not considered dark money.
So it's not dark money, right? And then they said, well, we didn't ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Her campaign manager actually said in one of the articles, well, we don't have any control. Even if we asked them to stop, we wouldn't have any control over what they did. And I'm like, but did you ask them to stop? That's my question. So she said she wouldn't take lobbyist dollars either, right? And I'm going, okay, so what does lobbyist mean? One who conducts activities at influencing or swaying public officials a person engaged in lobbying public officials. So this doesn't talk about being paid.
No, wait, hold on. We're going to do this correctly because we're in interesting territory. So we're not going to do summaries of what people said. We're going to say the article this is 7 days. 7 days says
was it this one?
No, it's the one that says crypto execs 11 million paid for pro Balint ads. That's the one where they talk to her. She said, this system that is legal. This is a quote.
You want to talk about
that's created by the Citizens United case is absolutely bad for democracy. That's Silver. Somebody in her campaign said.
That's on this. Where is it on the page so I can show it to everybody?
I think you got to scroll up, I think, from where you are. Yeah. It's under the flag, the picture with the flag, the rainbow flag. It's under that. Yeah.
This system that is absolutely legal was created by the Citizens United case is absolutely bad for democracy. So they're acknowledging that these kinds of donations are bad for democracy.
And that's by Natalie Silver, Balint's campaign manager.
Right. We should not have a system where one person can write a check like that and have that kind of influence in our elections. Okay. Again, remember, this is coming from Balint's campaign manager, Natalie Silver.
Yeah.
Becca is firm on that, and this doesn't change that at all. And so then they go on to say,
at the top, here's the interesting part. She says, in an interview on Tuesday, Balint's campaign manager, Natalie Silver, said she had never heard of Singh, nor had anyone from the campaign met or otherwise interacted with him. That would sounds like to me would fit the definition of dark money. According to Merriam-Webster, she denounced such spending as, quote, problematic.
Well,
and noted that the control has no control over it. The campaign has no control over it, even if they ask for it to stop. Now, here's
where is that, baby? We got to show the people. That's the point of sharing the screen. Where is that?
I was reading out the part that you were showing.
Where?
It's right there above it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so that's that part where she said, even if they ask for it to stop. And
yeah, but did you ask? Did you ask?
That's the question.
And not only that, but they also talk, I don't remember if it was this article or one of the other ones. They talk about having gone to Washington to meet with, what was the organization? Protect Our Future. Okay. And this is a PAC who supposedly cares about future pandemics. So she's saying she never met this person, but she did meet with someone in Washington representing this PAC for an endorsement interview.
In the spring, according to Silver, and this is below this. Remember, some people are driving. Some people are listening. They're not going to be watching it. Balint's team met with Gabe Bankman-Fried,
one of the brothers,
in Washington, D.C. for an endorsement interview and lunch. Silver said Guarding Against Pandemics told them it also planned to interview other candidates in the Vermont House Democratic primary. Quote, their sole focus is people who are going to be strong advocates for pandemic prevention, and Becca checked those boxes for them, unquote, Silver said.
So this is an organization that is working to influence legislation about future pandemics, but they're not a lobbyist. So is it because they're not registered as a lobbyist that we're not calling them a lobbyist? Are we using semantics to get around our campaign promise to not accept money from lobbyists and dark money? It kind of seems like it to me. So you're saying I didn't know the guy, but I did know the guy because I went to the interview and asked for the money. So is it dark money or is it PAC money? Is it lobbyist money or is it influencer money? And if the outcome is the same, does the difference in word matter? I guess that's my question.
Correct. I mean, that is a valid question. You know what? Comment below. Let us know if you think that it matters.
Does anybody else, like, were you guys like me where you thought you just kind of dark money and pack money are synonymous? To me, they're the same thing. What do you guys think? Like, what do you think about when you hear the word dark money or when you hear the word lobbyist? What does that mean to you? What does that like? What does that invoke in your mind?
It sounds like it's money to influence the way you do your campaigning and what you're going to do when you're done. At the bottom of the article, it says there's a section on balance page that says, we quote, "We must create a system of enforcement when noncompliance with safety and security protocols occurs." It reads, "The review of this work should be controlled by an independent committee concerned with preventing the next pandemic rather than the same groups funding this critical research. Such language is nearly identical to what appears on the websites for two Chicago area candidates who are also endorsed by Sam Bankman-Fried to protect our future PAC."
And that's what, so they gave out $40 million.
Yeah. And to be clear, they're talking about Jonathan
Democrats.
Jackson, son of Reverend Jesse Jackson, and U.S. Rep. Jesus Chuy Gonzalez, I don't know, of Illinois, I believe, received hundreds of thousands of dollars in ad support from the PAC, even though Gonzalez is running unopposed.
Yep.
According to the June report by the Chicago Sun-Times, we're citing sources because that's how you get demonetized and kicked off things for fake news. So I'm quoting as much as we can.
Good. That's good. And we'll put a link to all of these different stories that we read. I'll put a link in the description. Looks like a bunch of people. Tripp says, I would think that kind of money had to come from something. And you're right. Like when you're talking about, right, because it wasn't just the 1.1 million from FTX. She had another $595,000 from other donors. Where was that one? Was that on this same story?
I didn't see it on that
one. There was another one where it talked about her other $595,000 that she received. So, you know, we're getting information from the Gateway Pundit and the Daily Caller talking about the money that we're sending to Ukraine getting invested in FTX. And see, here's the thing. Like, let's just say they're not using Americans' money to invest in FTX. They're using their own money, right? Because fund accounting is a thing. In governmental accounting, it's called fund accounting. And you have little buckets of money, and you have to keep that money separate. Like this money is appropriated for this, and this money is appropriated for this. And we pay for things out of the special accounts and whatever, right? Yeah. And so, well, we're just doing a little sleight of hand where if we go, oh, we're going to put 40,000 here, but we're going to take 40,000 out of here. Like you guys are in the middle of a war right now. Why are you investing millions of dollars in crypto? Should you be really investing in a crypto platform that wants to be part of a central government crypto? Okay, that's the thing about FTX, right? FTX is trying to be central government crypto.
Yeah.
Or central bank.
Let's read that one from Vermont Daily Chronicle. Mind you, this is August 30th. So again, voters.
Yeah.
You got to read. With legislation for central bank for digital currencies on the horizon, 1 million to Balint looms large. This is August 30, 2022. Okay.
This is this is literally
Guy Page. This
is legislation had just passed by the Biden administration. It talks about this. Heads up, by September 5th, U.S. Department of the Treasury report on digital or cryptocurrency due to land on Biden's desk. And then they're giving the Treasury 180 days to make a recommendation.
If it hasn't already.
So this was back in August, remember. I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, I should have had this ready and pulled up. Biden passed some kind of executive order related to cryptocurrency.
Well, it says he gave the Treasury 180 days to recommend among a broad range of topics whether the United States should create a United States central bank of digital currencies. Now, the thing about this that makes this so funny is that the main reason people like cryptocurrencies to begin with, from everyone I've talked to, is because Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these things, is they're not regulated, because the whole problem with our money is that the government does not know how to not spend money it
Messing
doesn't have.
with our money.
So they mess with the value of our money because they spend like a drunk teenager.
Yeah. So they can just print however much they want, and they can take as much debt out as they want. Our central bank, the Federal Reserve, who is not accountable to you, who had supposedly one job, but now controls the value of our currency.
Yes.
They just, in the last few years, they just robbed the American people of their savings and their investment by devaluing our currency.
People don't understand that the government doesn't have to come take money directly out of your account to rob you. They can do things that inflate the currency. They can do things that create more taxes. Like, there's a bunch of different things they can do that are sneaky, that they can get your money. They can get your money. A CBDC, central bank, forget what does the acronym stand for? Central Bank of Digital Currencies, would, among other duties, bring cryptocurrency firmly under government regulation.
Yeah. I mean, that's
according to Guy Page, Biden's executive order tips his hand. He thinks regulation will protect both customers and investors and mitigate national security risks. But the problem is, that's Guy Page. The problem is, the whole point of crypto is not necessarily to be safe. It's to be free. So if you trade crypto for that reason, why would you want to put your decentralized currency into a centralized bank? I don't know how that makes a lot of sense.
Well, and this is like, okay, so they donated not only personally, so they maxed out personally, the owners of FTX maxed out personally to her campaign. Then the PAC maxed out what it could directly, which is $5,000, and then millions of dollars, or a $1.1 million donation. It is silly. Let's see. It's the same. Hold on.
Ooh, this is some good stuff here. And Guy Page did some work. He said the People's Republic of China has banned the use of cryptocurrency. President Biden apparently would prefer to regulate it. He said, at present, the digital or cryptocurrency is largely unregulated. Early adopters included libertarians and anarchists who wanted a whole kind of currency untouched and untouchable by the hands of government. If you give it back over to the safety, the man who trades his freedom or liberty for safety and security deserves neither. Was that Ben Franklin? We're doing the same thing. They're trying to do the same thing with cryptocurrency. They do this all the time. People, American people, have you noticed that every time the government snatches power, it has to do with safety? These are the same people who have been for the last years telling you that you can't trust the government, cops are bad, all these people are bad. And they're saying, but when you're scared, give us more of the power back. I don't understand how that makes sense. I don't.
You're scared. Well, and I love
our cops suck. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
When they say like things like, oh, the cops suck and they don't care about you, say for instance, because you're black, so don't have a gun and don't protect your family. Don't exercise your 2A rights.
That makes perfectly good sense. Come on.
People are wild. Do not believe them.
Josh Howard said, I believe the exact explanation that will clear Balint is on page 27 of your book. I love it. Josh is one of our people in Barry.
Josh
I love
is
my Barry people.
I want to say something about Josh.
Shout out.
Barry. The Barry gents are very well-read scholars, as you can tell. Perusing our book, he's gleaned some irreplaceable insights, some pearls.
Some pearls of wisdom.
And I'm just letting you guys know that he's a gentleman and a scholar.
I love it. This is, and Tripp said using gray areas and technicalities. I think that's probably when I said something about like, are you just using semantics to try to get around what you said you were or were not going to do?
Well, here's the thing. When I thought of dark money, we've been looking a lot of this stuff up because we take a lot of things for granted when we listen to things.
And I want to make sure I'm specific, right? Benjamin and I were talking before we got started. I want to make sure that I am a place where people can trust the information that is coming to them. And I don't want to be hyperbolic and, salacious. I want to give an opinion maybe and my take on something, but not where it's so far away from what is true.
Correct.
So go ahead, honey. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Forget what I was talking.
You said we were looking up dark money and stuff.
Oh yeah, we're looking up dark money and wanted to be specific about the terms because we use those things very loosely, and normally we think, like she said, like it's a pack, but it has a specific definition. And politicians will dance if you give them any room to tap dance.
Correct.
They're going to tap dance, and that's what these people are doing, because the real thing is that most people don't want mega corporation, outside forces, Soros-esque money coming in and changing the elections in local elections. Like, people don't want that.
Hold on. Did my camera go off again? What the heck? Hold on.
Up, baby.
Hang on.
Oh, my baby's in darkness. No. But, also it says here, Nishad Singh on July 7th, Singh donated $1.1 million to the LGBTQ Victory Fund. Singh is an engineering exec for FTX, an established cryptocurrency firm that enthusiastically supports government regulation of digital currency. So, again, all the way back here, you had people already raising the question and the alarm about, is this okay? And people were shouted down, people were called homophobic, all these different things because they were critiquing elements of Becca's of her campaign, only to find out again after the fact. Remember that? Kind of like the other thing with somebody's son who was doing wild stuff, and then it doesn't come out till after the fact because there's nothing we're going to do about it after the fact. Great, the story's run by 7 days, but they're not going to recount the votes. It's not going to change anything.
Well, and that's what, we have to forgive me, I didn't hear the last part of what you said, but, if we care about free and fair elections, we have to start looking at these things when they come up, exposing them to the light of day, and really taking responsibility for our elections. Like, when people do not show up to the polls to, what I'm hoping is that people, instead of allowing shady people to influence our elections, y'all go learn about the candidates and vote, for goodness sakes. Like, that is what we need people to do. The way we avoid shisty people being able to manipulate our elections is if we actually show up and take responsibility for them. So,
for the record, in the comments on Vermont Daily Chronicle, VT Laxer 75 says August 30th. Nothing to see here. Move along, ordain her, and get on with it. Hoping to find a special interest like that to help me over the hump. Nothing like getting a cool million or two from a narrow band special interest to assure that democracy is assured to do. I do not what.
Wait, where are you reading that?
I'm reading a comment on the bottom of this because it's funny.
Is this
he says, can't wait. He said, can't wait for the dance on this one and ensuing investigation. Not that it will make an iota of difference in the end game. Oh, you mean there won't be one? And again, this person just said exactly what we told you. Even if they do an investigation, it's not going to change the votes. They're not going to recount things. People are going to be in there. They've already won. They've used the technique. They might close the loop after they've used it, but it's not going to change. They're not going to go back and change what happened. So.
Yep. Well, and that's what it's really interesting to see all of these comments. Like, this is what's crazy is like people see it.
Yeah. But isn't this organization, I've read somewhere that some of them were like trying to flee to areas that didn't have extradition. I cannot find it. I'm not sure where I read that at, but I was doing research on FTX previously, and I heard that some of their people are trying to take off and find places where there is no extradition. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. Here is part of this, the Ukraine situation. So this is why, we start to see connections, and maybe nothing nefarious is going on. Maybe nothing shady is going on. But it does seem like the Biden administration and a lot of these people are doing things that give good reason to be suspicious and skeptical of what they have going on. So Sam Friedman, who was the second largest donor behind George Soros to Democrat candidates, right? So we saw, was it in?
Well, I can read. I'm reading it right now.
No, there's a graphic on one of these that shows who donated the most money, and George Soros was number one. Oh, there. No, that's not it. Oh, it must be in a different place. But it basically showed he is the second largest donor to Democrats behind George Soros, right? Mm-hmm. So he's this big Democrat donor, right? And now he's under investigation by the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, because they misrepresented their assets. So as it turns out, FTX had $9 billion in debt with only an actual $1 billion in assets. So what they did was they double dipped. They took assets from one of the other corporations and associated it with FTX on their financial statements.
Okay.
So they're under investigation.
This is awesome.
Allegedly moved 10 billion in 10 billion. Sorry, I thought it was 9. 10 billion in client assets from his crypto exchange. And then, oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. This is a different part of the story. So the other thing is this guy has a back door. Oh my God, there's so much to this, you guys. I'm going to try to put it all in order. There were so many things where I was like, wait, what? Okay, so they lied on their balance sheet. And again, I'm going to include all the links to everything that I read in the description when we're done with the channel or with the show today. So they misrepresented their financial statements, which is illegal. Okay. As an accountant, I can tell you, this is why I'm always so careful with my clients. And I'm such a stickler about this because, and Benjamin and I have talked about this. I have errors and omissions insurance and general liability and everything, because if I have a set of books, one of the reasons why I hold myself to an incredibly high level of integrity, like I don't cheat. I don't try to do cute stuff for my clients in their bookkeeping. I won't lie. I won't misrepresent things, because if they take books that I worked on and they bring that to a bank or an investor and they get a loan and they get money using information that I generated and it's wrong or fraudulent, I can get sued just like they can get sued for misrepresenting themselves. And so you can't lie about this. You cannot mess with this stuff. I mean, this is major fraud violation.
Unless you're the federal government.
That is really true. Speaking of which, when my camera went dark, Trip said darkness is spreading. And then Josh said Erica's camera was blocked by dark money for a moment.
Oh my God, y'all are wild.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So he's under investigation. He took a bunch of money out, and it was essentially like a run on the bank. So basically people hear, wait, this might be a shady organization. So then they try to take their money out. Well, there's no money there because they've moved the money. They have a back door, right? And where they took the money out and put it in this other place. And then they got hacked. And now the hacker has their money in this special unattainable crypto wallet. I mean, come on. Like, you want me to think you're not okay. This is where I just get incredulous. I'm just, I'm trying to bring you guys the facts and not be emotional and hyperbolic about stuff. But like, boy, golly, you guys are acting in just the exact way for everybody to put their tinfoil hats on.
Yeah.
And make a bunch of theories about it.
Yeah, this is pretty incredible. But it said they spent 24 million contributing to 18 Democratic primary campaigns across the country in 2022. That is wild.
This is what I'm saying. Okay, so then amid the Russia invasion, CEO of FTX came forward to help with a crypto donation project. So you could just donate a bunch of money via crypto. This is isn't that so nice and helpful with the humanitarian crisis?
Wow. Interesting. So did you read did we talk about the Gateway Pundit where they talk about the actual the tweet about the specific ones?
Wait. Do we have that one open?
I can read it. This is wild. So it says,
well, wait, hold on. Send it to me because I want to include it. Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Gateway Pundit.
It's in the black. Yeah, it's the black.
Tens of billions.
Yeah. Scroll down.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, we know half of y'all are not watching. Most people don't watch these shows. You're driving to work or something.
Right.
So we're reading things out, but keep scrolling. It'll have a black background. That's pretty breaks it down.
At this early hour.
Wait, before we read it again, this is according to the Gateway Pundit.
According
this
to the
information
Gateway
was shared on Twitter, and according to Gateway, they said they can confirm their sources that this is accurate.
Okay, yeah. So we're just taking information that we're finding. So it appears that tens of billions in American military aid to Ukraine, which was allegedly to be used to fight Russia, was cash that Ukraine did not use to fight Russia, but instead invested into FTX. As you might guess from the bankruptcy filing, it now seems that all the money is gone, right? And so, and we know this is also reported in various outlets saying that, it was basically backdoored out. Yes, you read that correctly. Instead of military aid, it was invested in FTX. And as of right now, it looks like all the money is gone. Democrat donations, right? So the chief of FTX, Sam Blankman-Fried, was the number 2 donor to the Democrats. He was only outspent by Soros.
Wait, we're quoting. Also, at this early hour, it now also appears that the chief of FTX, Sam Blankman-Fried, was the number 2 donor to the Democrats. He was only outspent by Soros himself.
It seems Ukraine was receiving money from the U.S. Ukraine sent it to FTX, and FTX sent it to Democrats, who originally voted to send it to Ukraine. At this point, it appears to some observers to be pure criminal money laundering and a criminal conspiracy to violate campaign finance laws. It now seems to closely watching observers that the kid burned his own company and his own behind, different word that I won't say, just to make sure the Dems won the midterm elections. And it seems to have done it by pulling the rug out from all those who had funds there in FTX. So they are literally attributing all of this basically as a money laundering scheme.
That's what that's what seems to be being claimed here. It says, so the collapse of FTX is now linked not only to Ukraine, but also to U.S. Democrat politicians who got money from Sam Blankman-Fried to campaign for the just ended elections. And that would include the most beloved in Vermont's history ever,
Becca
Balint. Becca the Bitcoin ballot. Becca Crypto Baby Balint. Tell me what you think her nickname should be now. Is it Becca Crypto Baby Balint? Becca Bitcoin Balint? Put in the comments.
Becca.
We'll vote for whoever has the best.
Yeah, put it in the comments. What do you guys think should be the thing?
Vote with likes.
So Josh says, so Mrs. Reddick, where do we go from here? The battle may have been lost for some, but the war goes on, although the seats I was involved in ended In victory, I am saddened by so many that were not as lucky. This is a long road ahead, and unite. Bitcoin Balint, Josh says. Josh, you are correct. First of all, that's a good alliteration. Bitcoin Balint. One of the things that we're trying to figure out is what exactly we can do, because obviously Becca is not the only candidate in this year's congressional race that had money problems. While I should be careful about calling what Liam did fraud, because the definition of the word fraud seems to include intent. Mr. Madden has said that he didn't know that he thought that it was legal. He thought that what he was doing was fine.
But that's different.
It
doesn't mean the definition of fraud says intentional perversion of the truth. By that definition, you said a 2-year-old or whatever donated to your campaign. That's not possible.
I mean, he said he asked his 2-year-old if he wanted to help daddy's campaign, and the 2-year-old said yes. That's literally what he said.
You can't do that with your own money.
And this is what it's like. Okay, you may not have thought that what you were doing was wrong, but you had to know that there was something not right about it, because you were having to scheme how to figure out a way to donate the money.
Well, moving money out of a business account for a political campaign, I don't know how that's. Is that legal? Is that allowed? Are we allowed to do that?
So that's not even what was the problem.
I know. I was just curious about that.
No, you're not.
You're allowed to do.
No, federal campaigns, you're not allowed to take donations from businesses. Now, the business can pay. You can take a distribution from your business and then use that money for whatever you want. That sure, okay.
I thought he said he took a loan though.
Well, it had to be paid back.
But that's not a distribution. That's a loan.
Correct. Exactly. So this is why when we're talking about semantics, right? So this is what's so frustrating about some of these conversations is like, okay, you can argue around this stuff semantically, but when you break it down, you took out a loan from your business, automatically illegal. You then one of the rules that he broke, because I called my treasurer and I gave her verbatim what he said, and she listed right off the bat no less than 6 rules that he violated, one of which was you can't give money to someone else to donate to a candidate if you've already maxed out, right? Like, so if you say max out to a candidate, 2,900 primary, 2,900 general, you can't then give money to somebody else and say, well, hey, I've already maxed out. Would you donate this to the candidate as well? That's also illegal.
So, well, here's the thing. We have to, again, we don't need to say anything. There's articles on it in VT Digger. You can look them up. They clearly say what other people who are much more smarter than us about FEC regulations believe about what he said.
Right.
One of them quoted on VT Digger, a family member can give another family member money for whatever reason, and then you can justify that as just a gift. And what they choose to do with that is up to them. They choose to donate to my campaign, Madden said. And the person they're interviewing said, those are all legal. Well, he said those are all legal transactions. Paul Esmerang, a Washington, D.C. based campaign finance law expert, best known for filing legal complaints against former President Donald Trump, and Michael Cohen for hush money paid to Stormy Daniels, told VT Digger in a phone interview Friday, I'll cut to the chase. This sounds very illegal. This guy's just making up law. I mean, it's kind of wild that he's so vocal and confident, Ryan said. If the laws was easy to get around as he thinks they are through his clever little machinations, the laws would be pointless. They are not easy to get around.
Well, and that's the thing, is that's one of the things that's so frustrating. Is like, people think that they're being cute, and then they try to use semantics to get around it. And the reality is that both of my opponents, let me rephrase that. We're going to keep this journalistic. The reality is 2 of the 3 leading congressional candidates in Vermont this year used gray areas and illegalities and semantics to finance their campaigns and try to not seem like bad people to Vermonters, right? So Becca says, I'm not going to take dark money. I'm not going to take money from lobbyists. And then she says, oh, well, it's not dark money because I know where it comes from, and it's not a lobbyist because I agree with them and they don't get paid, right? So well, it may not be a duck, but it sure looks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck.
And it skips the whole reason why people have an issue with it, which is it's large millionaire donors who aren't even from where you're from.
And she said it was a problem, right? So, like,
no, her person, when her campaign.
Sorry, you're correct.
Her campaign manager.
Her campaign manager said she thinks it's a problem.
So I guess
her
the
campaign
question,
manager said it was.
So the question being, what are we going to do about it, or what comes next?
Yes. So Josh said, what do we do? What comes next? Colleen says, what do we do? It's really hard to not give up at this point. And I totally understand that sentiment. And this is why, honestly, we have to work so much smarter than everybody else, right? So we know, right? Like Becca Balint may not have done anything illegal or wrong even, right? She said, oh, I'm not going to do this. And she took it anyway. And we see that a certain kind of way. But in her mind, she was able to justify it with semantics. And that's what politicians do, right? Liam Madden changes his story about why he did what he did and all of these things depending on who he's talking to, right? He gives a different story about what he did depending on, who he's trying to influence their opinion of him.
Correct.
And that's what politicians do, right? Yes. So if we know that these people are going to be dishonest and skirt the rules or cheat, we just have to be that much smarter and that much more diligent in the work that we're doing, right? So instead of Republicans and libertarians and people who are, and independents for that matter, working against each other, not cooperating, not being strategic, it makes it even worse, right? Because they're willing to be strategic together to get to work the system. And we're sitting over here being like, no, you didn't say the word the right way, so I reject you and I'm not going to vote for you. So like, what we really need.
You don't have time to be that petty if you really believe that lives are on the line. Either it's a fight for lives and security and freedom that matters enough to do what is necessary to be tactical, or it doesn't, and we're just playing with people's emotions. But don't pretend like it's one when it's the other. It's serious or it's not. And if it's serious, we're at war and we need to be strategic. And if it's not, we can play games and run our mouths and be emotional, but that's not what your opponents are doing.
So we're gonna find out more, I'm sure, as this goes along. Becca is not the one who committed the fraud, but she definitely did benefit from fraud, alleged fraud. Liam, again, fraud. And so you guys, this is the other thing. I am looking into what, if anything, can be done at this point. The election is already over. There has been some suggestions about being able to sue for one thing or another, but Benjamin and I may be good looking and we may be really smart and talented, but what we do not have is a bunch of money to spend on legal fees. So we would need a lawyer. We would need people to help contribute. We would need to get in touch with one of those organizations like, oh my God, who is it that's defending the Randolph people?
I'm not sure the name.
One of those legal teams that's pro bono and fights this stuff, because there's so much corruption here and they get away with it because people don't participate in the process, because we don't bother taking the time to sue them, because we don't participate in our self-governance. They just keep getting away with it. So,
continue. One of the things is we're trying to do more topics like this, covering the news, spreading the word, growing this. Listen, one of the goals is to grow this channel, right? We need subscribers. We want to have more subscribers than every other podcast, every other news outlet in Vermont. The goal is to grow the channel so that we can amplify conservative voices. Because here's the thing. I don't care if you're center to center right to far right. Okay. We're typically like holding the line, the people in this region. We don't want people to do a bunch of crazy stuff. The people on the left, center left, and far left, they're pulling society and culture farther and farther left. So even if you're center right now, even if you're like, I'm an independent, I'm dead in the middle, you shouldn't be allying with the people on the left because they're going to keep drifting things. So you end up with Bill Maher sounding like a conservative. Over time, you will be on the right side of where they are going. So if you want things to remain like they are, you want to conserve the freedoms and the way the country is supposed to be run, or maybe even get closer back to that, you have to be voting with conservatives. You have to help us fight to do this. You cannot stay in the middle anymore.
Yep. Oh, oh my God. Trip made a comment and he said, I knew you two were part of the BPC. And I was like, BPC. So I just commented back, BPC ?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful People Club.
Oh my gosh.
That's what we are. That's what we are.
That's very kind of you all.
Yes. Thank you, Trip. Colleen says, thank you for doing these lives. It keeps the line of communication open and gets the info out there. I mean, it's this is, Benjamin just said it. This is the goal. We want to be a news outlet. So we've got two newspapers, basically, right? We've got Vermont Daily Chronicle and True North Reports. We want Generally Irritable to be the video, equivalent,
yeah.
Right? So like so instead of watching WCAX for your news, you're going to come to Generally Irritable. That is ultimately the goal. Alliance Defending Freedom. Thank you, okay. LJ. Alliance Defending Freedom. So we need to if we can get somebody like that, if anybody knows how to get in touch with these people to even have a conversation to see if I have standing to do anything, even we're going to be filing a complaint with the FEC over Liam's stuff, but that'll take 2 to 3 years to adjudicate, and it doesn't change what happened. It'll just hopefully be an example to prevent people from trying to do stuff like that in the future.
And realistically, when we talk about this being a life and death matter, again, I'm looking on True North Reports. Vermont has its highest, according to True North Reports, has its highest homicide rate in 3 decades. And it says Democrat rule will do that.
So this is literally lives are at stake. Highest increase in overdose deaths, suicides.
Why do you think that stuff happens? How many people do you think are going to hear or read that? Very few. And they're going to go vote again in a couple years, and they're not going to know that this is what's going on. And you can see the direct correlation between the far more left policies and crime rates and violence. It's not that difficult to see the correlations there. So when we can't get the word out, lives are literally. We don't try to be hyperbolic, and we're not running around in fear and terror, because that's not the right way to motivate people. But there are stakes to us not having a voice in Vermont. So we can only do so much. We're going to be running more ads. We're going to be trying to get out there more, but comment, share the videos with people who might be somewhat like-minded. We need those subscriber counts up. That gives us more resources, reach. We're trying to, partner with larger YouTubers. We're trying to get people's eyes on Vermont because it's winnable. We could change that. We have enough eyes.
And so everybody that's watching, if you can, make sure that you're subscribed to my page, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Make sure you're subscribed or you're following. Share, comment. It helps with everything. And like Benjamin said, once I get enough subscribers, I can start doing better advertisements and targeting. I can prevent people like Becca Balint from advertising on my page, which she did. I was like, why are her ads coming up on my videos?
Yes.
But because right now I can't control that stuff. And so with your guys' help, if everybody who watches this video goes to YouTube and subscribes, I'll be able to really start targeting things.
We have 407 subscribers. We've grown quite a bit. We need to get to 1,000 is the next goal for us. So getting to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Let's make that happen.
Well, and that's what, I really would like to move over to Rumble, but there's a fee. There is a fee for live streaming on Rumble. And so if there's anybody out there who wants to help contribute, most of my videos and posts and things like that have a link to my Subscribestar. Go to Subscribestar, make a donation, become a recurring member of the channel at like $2 a month or $5 a month to help bring this kind of news to you and to other Vermonters. Okay.
It's on Rumble. I'm looking, top Democrat donor crashed the crypto market. That's Louder the Crowder. They're covering, everybody's talking about FTX right now.
Oh, brilliant. See, this is what, like, you guys, national news stories have significance here in Vermont. And wouldn't it be great if we can get that stuff covered and get it out there? Hold on. Wait. When CBS, you call it out. Wait, Paul Dame asked if I was involved. I said I dabble. Wait, involved in what? Crypto? I'm curious. What do you mean? Anyway. All right. So you guys, this was supposed to be a short, quick, like 20-minute broadcast, and it's been an hour. Whenever I say it's going to be short, in politics, asked if you dabble. Yeah, Josh, I love my Barrie people. You guys are all awesome, but I got to tell you, like, there is a group of folks in Barrie who are super motivated and really focused on changing things there. And I just love being around those folks who are just about it. They're about it. They're like, this is bull crap. We just got to figure it out. And they're willing to sacrifice their own time and energy to make it happen. Because that's what it's going to take, you guys. We all have to sacrifice. You all have to sacrifice something. So whether it's a couple bucks or a few hours, that's what it's going to take. Josh says move to Barrytown. This was the last time I was down there. They were arguing about if I should move to Barrytown or Barrie City. So just so you know, Benjamin, if we ever sell the house in Burlington, we have been requested to be residents of Barrie.
Okay.
We've been invited.
We will deeply consider this invitation.
Okay, guys. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna throw all this stuff in the description here after we're done, and then not sure if we're gonna have an episode next Sunday. I meant to say something about that. Benjamin and I are gonna be on vacation, and I have not planned a pre-recorded episode, and we don't know where we're gonna be on Sunday, so we'll probably have published something this Sunday, but I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be. We might come back to you this week with some more things like this. Shoot me your story ideas. Who should I interview next? What do we need to cover? If there's something that you think we should do a deep dive on, or somebody I should interview on the Sunday show, holler at your girl. Shoot me a message, generallyirritable@gmail.com. Yes. All right. You want the last word, babe?
Nope, I'm good.
You good? All right, you guys, have at it. Happy Monday morning, and enjoy the sunshine. I should have closed with the commercial instead. Oh, wait, we're still live? What the heck? How come it didn't end?
Episode.
Oh, do.